5 people who by every law of biology should be dead. 1 fell 6 miles with no parachute. 1 took a particle beam through the skull. 1 cut off his own arm to escape. 1 spent 3 days trapped underwater. And the last had no heartbeat for hours. Stay for her. First, a flight attendant who fell from the edge of space. On January 26, 1972, a flight attendant fell 6 miles out of the sky with no parachute and lived. She's the only person in history who ever has. Everyone else on the plane was already gone. And the reason, at 33,000 feet, a bomb tore her jet apart in midair. She was trapped in the tail section as it dropped like a stone toward a frozen mountainside. She wasn't thrown into open air. A food cart had pinned her against the wall, strapping her inside the falling wreckage. Here's how that saved her. Her low blood pressure made her pass out, and that kept her blood vessels from rupturing under the force. The tail hit a steep, snow-covered slope thick with trees, so it didn't stop dead, it slid. She woke up in hospital and asked for a cigarette. This is the real Vesna Vulović. She lived another 50 years after falling from the edge of space. Falling plane is one thing. This next one should not be survivable at all. 1978, a Soviet scientist named Anatoli Bugorski leaned into a machine that should have killed him instantly. He was inspecting a fault on a particle accelerator, a ring that fires protons at almost the speed of light. He leaned through the beam path. A proton beam punched straight through the back of his skull and out near his nose. Here's the glitch. The beam was so narrow and focused it toward a single clean channel, instead of the wide blast of radiation that would have destroyed his brain. The left side of his face froze forever, but he stayed conscious, finished his doctorate, and is still alive today. Beam through the skull is bad luck. This next man had to save himself with a blade. For 5 days, Aron Ralston was trapped at the bottom of a canyon, his arm crushed under a boulder with no one coming. He had run out of water, he had run out of food, and he had run out of time. So he made a choice almost no one could. With a cheap, dull multi-tool, he began to cut through his own arm. Here's the glitch. His blade could never cut bone, so he bent his trapped arm until the bone snapped first. Only then could he cut through the rest and pull himself free. Then, bleeding and one-armed, he hiked out into the open desert, and he lived. Aron walked out of a desert. This next man was trapped at the bottom of the sea. Harrison Okene spent 3 days at the bottom of the ocean, trapped inside a sunken ship, in a pocket of air the size of a cupboard. His boat had capsized and sank 30 meters down. Everyone else was gone. He was alone in the freezing dark. The water kept rising, the cold crept in, and the air slowly turned to poison as he breathed it over and over. Here's how he lived. A single bubble of air had been trapped against the ceiling when the ship flipped. The cold slowed his body down, and after 3 days, a rescue diver's torch found his hand in the dark. Pulled from a tomb on the seabed 3 days later, by every rule, he should have drowned in the first hour. But the strangest of all is the one I promised you at the start. Swedish doctor named Anna Bågenholm was skiing when she fell headfirst through the ice of a frozen stream. She was pinned under thick ice in freezing water. By the time her heart had completely stopped, her body temperature fell to 13 degrees, the lowest a human has ever survived. Here's how she came back. The extreme cold dropped her brain's need for oxygen to almost nothing before her heart quit, so her brain was protected the whole time it had no blood. Doctors warmed her blood slowly for hours. Then, with no warning, her heart simply started again. By every rule of medicine, Anna should be dead. If you made it this far, subscribe for more glitches in reality.